So technically the barrier to entry to become a runner is pretty low. You need a shirt, you need some shorts or tights or something to wear when you're out running, and of course shoes. And having some skin in the game with spending a little bit of money to get into it really does help motivate the same way signing up for a race does. Investing in your journey and setting a goal is important. Having a little bit of pain attached to failing really does help keep you motivated. Usually most people spending money is a way of creating a little bit of pain if you fail. No one likes wasting money or not showing up to a race because you didn't train. Also, signing up with a friend or group of friends to run a race will help a lot, and that brings me to accountability. Accountability is a great motivator, whether you talk about it with friends, family, coworkers, or social media like me with almost nearly 10,000 subscribers out there. When I do things, I talk about it with all of you, and if I fail to do them, to me, it's embarrassing, and it is a huge motivator for me, and it has been for years. And if you are someone who has an especially hard time getting started on your own, you're not a really good self-starter, a fitness coach or a running coach can help give you that structured plan, the workout plan, running plan that is specified to your needs around your schedule. And again, investing in that is another way of getting some skin in the game and making sure you follow through with your goal. Look, we are all motivated by different things, whether it is to lose weight, improve our health, maintain our fitness, improve our running times, or to push ourselves to the next distance, or just enjoy the ability to move our bodies from point A to point B. The fact is, people repeat behaviors that they enjoy. So easing into your running to make you enjoy it a little bit more, going into it slowly helps you beat that struggle to, if you're having a hard time finding the joy in starting off being sore, being tired, and just not seeing any results. So what it boils down to is you need to take care of your mind and your body and not doing too much too soon, taking walking breaks and increasing your speed and distance slowly, getting enough rest, and eating healthy is really going to help you in those beginning weeks as you gain your fitness back. When you start running, you will be hungrier, so you need to keep an eye on how much you eat. This will help you not gain the weight as you transition into your new running routine. Many, including yours truly, tend to overeat as we increase our activity. So keep an eye on that. I definitely have to. And as you're thinking about this and planning for your comeback or your initial jaunt into running, you should pick a running plan that has elements of strength training, stretching, and resting. This is extremely important when you're running at any time, but especially when you're starting off. The whole point is to stay consistent. That will be the biggest thing for you. And remember that you are using this time to recondition the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, connective tissues, and your legs. So taking it easy and remembering that part of it will definitely help keep you healthy. So whether you are a new runner or a veteran runner, these are things everyone battles. Every one of us has battled them at some point. And they are things that can derail your fitness goals very, very quickly if you don't keep an eye on them. So my biggest piece of advice, if you are an aspiring runner or you have been running for many years, have fun. This is fun. We love running. That's why we do it. Don't overcomplicate it and don't compare yourself to other people that you see out there. That is the worst thing to do, especially when you're starting off. Slow and steady will help keep you moving, keep you consistent, and you will 100% be successful on your comeback into running. Look, there is no substitute for consistency. Training to run long distances takes patience, it takes consistency, and it takes commitment. And the hardest part about being consistent is not what you do after you start running. It's not after you get out the door and you get going down the road. That's not the part that's hard. The part that's hard is what you do before you ever get out the door. You have to constantly battle that lazy person in your brain that wants to talk you out of doing the things that you need to do to reach the goals that you have set for yourself. You see, each day I have that internal conflict. I have that battle within me every single day before I run. My mind starts to make up excuses. Don't have enough time to get the mileage I want. I got to take the kids to softball or baseball, or I got to get home to relieve my wife so she can go do the things that she needs to do. There are a million excuses that I can come up with to not do the training that I'm supposed to be doing. More often than not, the times that I've really faltered, that I've undertrained or fell out of things is because I let the excuses in my mind win out. Basically, you have to talk yourself out of being comfortable, both physically and mentally. So before you ever even give yourself a chance to come up with excuses, you need to move. Look, it sounds super silly and simple, but I don't give myself time to think about it. When I get up in the morning and I need to do a long run on a weekend, I get up and I can feel the excuse start to load my brain. Like, oh, I'm tired. But then I know, just get moving. So I literally walk to get my clothes on and I get moving, whether it's on the treadmill or outside. I just do the thing. I don't even let that part of my brain take over that will allow me to go back to sleep or make an excuse to say that I'm going to do it later. I literally have a reflex now that just pushes me through it. And on top of really trying to train this reflex to ignore these signals, these excuse signals that kind of pop up when you're tired or you're thinking of other things you should be doing, some other things that you need to do that really help. Sleep. Getting enough sleep is key, because a lot of times when you make an excuse to not run, it could be because you're tired and your body just doesn't have the energy, which then makes you make a poor decision like not working out. Eating enough, eating well and eating enough. You need to make sure that you're eating enough calories in the morning, that you bring something for lunch, and that you have a pre-run snack if you need it. Bring gels, bring whatever you need to help get your body the energy it needs to help fuel the exercise that you're going to be doing that afternoon or in the morning if you have to get up to do that before your run. You need to set yourself up for success no matter when you're going to be running. Another thing you need to do to be more consistent in running is run easy. 80% of your runs should be at a easy pace. 20% should be your workouts, your harder workouts, but 80% of them should be at an easier pace. So make sure that when you're going out that you're not, pegging the odometer there every single time you go out, because that's going to eventually lead to not only injury, but you falling out of running completely. So be kind to yourself. Don't be overly dogmatic when it comes to the workouts. If you can't get in your normal workout, go do another workout. You'll be fine. Get some mileage in, get moving, do something so you keep that momentum up. Look, routine equals consistency, consistency equals results. That movement, that little bit of movement or a lot of movement that you do helps build momentum, and momentum is what helps you maintain that consistency that you need to be successful in running. So the literal definition of motivation is the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, or the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. This is where I like to say this is kind of tied into process and outcome goals. So the process goals are how to do the thing, and outcome goals are like, okay, I want to finish the Yeti 100, or things like that. So outcome is the thing you want to do, and process goals are the smaller things that you set out to achieve, the things you have to do to achieve the larger outcome goal. So discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weakness, the ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abort it. Now, I think if any of you have ever struggled with doing the thing you're supposed to do, that's exactly the feeling. You're dealing with struggling getting it done. Now, motivation is not always going to get you there. Discipline will get you there. And that is, I think, the biggest mistake most people kind of make when they think about motivation. And they probably don't even think about discipline. Motivation can only get you part of the way. I have a motivation to run the Yeti 100 or all of these races, to run ultramarathons. I have a motivation to. That would never, ever change. The desire to hasn't gone down. Now my discipline is the part of that seems to fail me. My discipline day in and day out that helps me achieve that long-term goal. For example, so the discipline would be setting my alarm and actually getting up each day, eating a good breakfast, getting my workout in, making sure I do rest, making sure I do sleep well. Those type of things are the discipline that it takes to achieve the long-term goal. And if you do those day in and day out, you will be successful in your outcome, in your goal, and the thing that you were motivated to do to begin with, which is finish the thing, whatever it is. This is where I struggle, and I think most people struggle, is the discipline day in and day out. And you mistake it as being motivation, because I think and that is a mistake, because if I were to ask you, do you want to achieve the outcome goal? Yes, we all do. Discipline is where we need to focus our energy, doing the thing each day that helps us get to those goals. So with this channel, I'm here to help motivate and talk about the disciplines that it takes to be successful. You can't be successful. You can be super motivated to do something, but not have discipline, and you won't be successful. That doesn't mean you don't have motivation. That doesn't mean you're not motivated. So form habits, create discipline, and stop worrying about whether or not motivation is going to leave or come. Stop trying to focus on it so much. Focus on discipline and use motivation to kind of sprinkle on it to keep you energized. But discipline is where you need to be. Stop focusing so much on constantly trying to feed yourself with this motivation to do things. That does help, but at the end of the day, you need discipline to do the things you want to do. And that's one of the major issues with motivation videos. Like if you search YouTube and they have the motivation videos and people just get in these binge watching episodes of these motivational videos because it makes you feel good. It really does. It fires off the dopamine and all of that. And like, wow, I'm really super motivated. But if you don't have discipline, you have nothing. Without discipline, it's very easy to get sidetracked or give up altogether. That's why it's important to develop a strong sense of discipline if you want to achieve your goals. There are many different ways to develop discipline. One way is to set regular goals for yourself and then stick to them. This will help you stay on track and avoid getting sidetracked. Another way to develop discipline is to find a role model or mentor who can help you stay motivated and focused on the goals you want to try to achieve. Whatever method you choose, the important thing is to make sure that you stick to it. It takes time and effort to develop discipline, but it's worth it in the end. If you're serious about achieving your goals, make sure to start developing your discipline right now, today. What do you do each and every day to help you with the discipline aspect of achieving your goals? Your knees hurt, your legs hurt, you're tired, you're sore, and you just come to the fact that you have bad knees and therefore can no longer run. What if I were to tell you that you absolutely can run, you're just quitting way too early? Hello everyone, this is John with Motivation Theory Running. So having run as long as I have run, and obviously having a channel centered around running, I hear a lot of people tell me their stories about running, from success to failure. And one of the biggest things I hear people say about why they don't run is that they just have bad knees. It hurts too bad, their days of running are over. And my answer to that is nonsense. Most people who stop running or haven't run for a very long time have the same issues. When you are getting back into running, there are a lot of forces on your joints, ligaments, the fascia, the muscles that you don't normally have on them. So it just logically makes sense that when you start running again, you're going to be more sore. Things are going to hurt. So the issue is not that you are unable to run anymore. The issue is you are quitting before it gets easy. And yes, it does get easier. So the number one thing you need to do to help get you through the really kind of hard part of running, it's usually about the first 2 to 3 weeks, getting through it, getting into a routine, is you need to be more flexible. Now, I know a lot of people will go out there and they'll get on a couch to 5K running plan and it'll say you need to run 3 to 5 times a week, and they'll just be this rigid thing you feel like you have to stick to. The problem is with that is we're all different. We're all different ages. We all have different abilities to come back from the different ailments, the little pains and nagging things that happen to us when we start running again. Is at the beginning, you're going to have to learn to just let it go. You're going to have to learn to say, my body is not feeling it today. I'm going to have to take a rest day or go find something else to do, like ride a stationary bike or ride a bike, do some cross training to help your body heal and kind of maintain through this cycle of getting back into shape. That is probably the number one thing people don't do is when they first start running, is they just assume that the hurting is something bad. We all go through it. I've been running for a long time, and whenever I've taken any amount of time off, getting back into it, things hurt a little bit more until my body gets used to the forces that I am now applying to it. Secondly, you do too much too soon. It's okay to walk. Again, when you print out those running plans and it doesn't have any kind of walking in it, a good beginner running plan should have plenty of walk-run strategy in it, is you should be doing things like, maybe run for a minute, walk for 2 minutes, run for 2 minutes, walk for 2 minutes. You should be doing those interval type rotations between walking and running to help you get through it. Now, I know a lot of people feel like if you walk, that's a failure. It is 100% not. Most successful people are incorporating some sort of walking somewhere in their plan in relation to the fitness level they have. So you need to let go of this idea that you have to run the entire time. You're doing too much too soon. You're running too fast too soon. It's okay. If you're not feeling that great, if you're sore, yeah, go out there and just walk as fast as you can for a while. Then maybe jog a little bit, then slow down. Do that. No one cares. There's no one keeping track of what you're doing. Just take a breath. You'll do fine, but you have to get through the first 2 to 3 weeks to be what is the number 3 thing, consistent. Consistency is key, and it sounds almost counter to what I just said, being able to take days off and do other things, but consistency is what's going to keep you on track to be successful in your comeback. And this is what normally happens. A new person starts running, they're sore, they get their knees hurt, all of these things, and they end up not running and not doing things, and eventually they fall out of it. And consistency is really where the bread is buttered. You got to stay on track, doing something to keep moving forward. Runners run. Don't worry about being the definition of a runner. Don't worry if you don't look like a runner, what you think a runner looks like. Don't worry about the pace. Don't worry about the distance. Goal here is to run consistently, to get yourself up and moving every single day, doing something towards your goal. You can do this, I promise. Just get through those first 2 to 3 weeks. Don't say your knees hurt. Don't say you just can't run because your knees are not able to take it anymore. Then walk. Walk fast. Like I said, back and forth between walking and running. You'll get there, I promise you. It took me a long time to come to the realization that I need to let the ego go. That when I'm out running and I'm, on a 15-mile run and I have to walk up some hills, I used to just run them because I was so worried about someone looking at me and going, look at this guy. Look at this guy walking. That's not a runner. I had to let that go a long time ago because what matters is me being consistent. What matters is me not going out too hard. What matters is me not overtraining. That's what makes you successful in running. In this video, we're going to discuss 5 tips for running in the cold. Number 1, invest in some quality cold weather gear. This doesn't mean you need to break the bank, but make sure you have a good pair of gloves, a hat that actually covers your ears, and a warm running coat. And if you're going to be running outdoors in the cold, you need to make sure you're properly outfitted. Number 2, start slowly. If this is your first time running in the cold, you don't want to try to push it too hard. Start with a slow jog and work your way up. Your body needs time to adjust and get acclimated to the colder temperatures, and you don't want to risk getting injured. Number 3, breathe through your nose. When it's cold out, it's tempting to breathe through your mouth, but it can actually dry out your lungs and make you cough. So try to breathe through your nose instead, and you'll keep your lungs nice and moist and avoid those coughing fits that can happen when you're running in the cold. Number 4, and this is really important, dress in layers. Wearing layers is key to staying comfortable in the cold. Dress in light, breathable layers that you can peel off as you warm up. And make sure your outer layer is wind and water resistant. That's really, really important. I had this happen to me in the 100-mile I just ran 3 weeks ago. Everything gets soaked around your skin and your body temperature starts to drop, and you don't want that to happen. Number 5, be prepared for the elements. If you're running outdoors, you need to be prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. And depending on where you are and how remote you are, make sure others know where you are and when to expect you back. And finally, make sure you have a map of the route and carry a cell phone in case of an emergency. So we're all dealing with the heat and humidity of the summer right now, and it has been extra brutal this summer. I don't know what's going on, but it just feels like it's just scorching. The last couple days have been over 100 degrees here in Virginia where I'm at, with the humidity and the kind of the feel. It was 106 today, 102 yesterday. It's brutal, absolutely brutal. And you can come out of the summer in even better shape with less volume because of that. Learning to run safely in the heat and humidity absolutely can help you just burn it in the fall. Absolutely scorch these, I'm using the hot terms here. I don't know if it's going to work, but the races in the fall. I always love how the fall, as it cools down and my paces pick up and how easy they feel. I always love that feeling because it really feels like everything is really paid off. All that hard work, all that just battling through the heat every day, how much that's paid off when the temperatures start to drop. So there's some things you should be doing. First and foremost, don't worry about your pace. I don't worry about pace at all during the summer. I reduce my volume. I don't worry about pace. I run on effort and heart rate, because there are days, especially the last couple days, where my heart rate is 15 to 20 beats per minute higher for the same effort when the temperatures are in the 70s and even low 80s. There's no way for me to keep my heart rate down. It just stays spiked after 3 or 4 miles, so I have to keep power hiking, hydrating, finding some shade, and just trying to battle through keeping my heart rate down, but still maintaining a good workout. I was so successful in my 50K a couple weeks ago because I believe I was having super quality workouts. I wasn't pushing too hard on them and just really concentrating on heart rate, which I typically do the maffetone training to begin with, but during the summer, I think it's especially important to watch your heart rate so you're not overtraining. Number 2, hydrate. Taking plenty of water, taking plenty of electrolytes and sodium, whether that be through your sports drinks of your choice or sodium tabs or sodium electrolyte tabs. I always have those handy. We'll usually pop a couple before I go on a run, especially when the temperatures are going to be super high. Number 3, if you're going to run during the summer, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's not easy. It's going to be brutal. There were times in my run yesterday where I had to stop twice. I was only running a 10K, and it was so oppressive. I had to go find shade just because my stomach was cramping so much because of the water leaving my stomach and having to go out to my body. And the food that I took in before the run, it just created this super intense cramp in like the diaphragm stomach area that only ever comes when it's super hot. So there's no reason for me to try to push through that and push myself to the point of having a reversal of some sort on the side of the road. Pull off the side of the road, not worried about time. Again, don't worry about pace. I'm not worried about impressing anyone with my quickness when it's 102 degrees. I'm just trying to survive the workout and put in the best effort that I can and maintain safety at all times. Number 4, super important, hat and suntan lotion. I don't need to say much more about that, but being safe not only means the safety of your immediate self, but your skin and the effects of the sun on your skin. I think we all know, especially as we age, the things that can happen when we spend too much time in the sun without the proper protection. Hat, suntan lotion, you will be very thankful as you age for that. Number 5, listen to your body. Listen to your body. I know I alluded to this in the previous tips. If you feel like something is wrong, if you feel like you're pushing too hard, that you may be pushing your heart too hard, or your heartbeat, your heart rate is too high, if you're too dehydrated, listen to yourself. There's nothing in the world more important than your safety and your health. So maintain that thought that while you want to push hard, know things are going to be uncomfortable, that there is kind of a time that you can push too far and go too hard and injure yourself, especially in the heat. That's what we're talking about here. Watch what you're doing, not only for you, but for those who love you, because we don't want to have something happen. And I've had friends of my family have that happen, and it is not a good thing to lose someone's life out there because they were ill-prepared or didn't listen to their body. And kind of 5.1, tell people where you are, especially during the heat. My watch has the alert system if I go down that will alert people that love me, but also let people know where you're going. Let people know how far you're going, how long you should be gone, because minutes are important out there. If you go down because you're dehydrated and you have no ability to get to someone, depending on how remote you are. I know a lot of areas I run in trails and stuff sometimes don't have great cell signal. Let people know where you are so that someone can get to you if the worst does happen. That is just part of what it is to be a runner. You need to be safe. You need to take care of yourself and kind of respect those that love you and care about you by letting them know where you are. So why is running so addictive? One thing I know for a fact about running is that it elicits a lot of really opinionated passion from people, whether they hate it, can't stand it, or they absolutely love it. And usually the hate is a hate from having a bad experience with running or just really not understanding it. And the loving the running is from people who have found the empowerment of overcoming adversity a lot. You may not think of running as adversity, but it's kind of a self-inflicted adversity, just like many people gain and they kind of draw power. They absorb the power from the things that they defeat. Running is one of those type of things. I always say that there's a lot of addictive personalities that are drawn to running. A lot of people who battle a lot of different demons get drawn into the sport because it replaces those things. Running is something that's hard to explain to someone why you love it. It's hard for me to explain why I like to go out and run for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, or obviously 12 or 24. The farther you go, the least likely you're going to have someone kind of be on board who's not a runner and kind of understand where you're coming from. It's kind of hard to equate it to something else, to someone who doesn't do anything that's kind of that extreme. So if you look at other forms of things that give people that dopamine, that shot of adrenaline, or whatever it is that drives people to be passionate about the things that they love, if you can kind of cross that bridge and meet them on that and explain to them that's how you feel, I think maybe they can understand it then. But most people that I explain my passion and my love for running just don't understand it, especially the running and the ultra distances. They just don't get it. See, I think humans need adversity to overcome. They need to kind of battle things and overcome them. And running is kind of that surrogate for exposing yourself to real threats. While running can be dangerous depending on where you are and the type of races, it is a way of creating this kind of controlled adversity for yourself that you can overcome, that you can train for, like you're going into battle. Then you can go into your battle, your race, and then win and achieve and overcome and kind of suck the power out of that thing and then kind of take it into yourself. And you can do that over and over and over again. And I believe that dopamine from finishing the race and the trials and tribulations that you put yourself through kind of replicate things that humans have probably lost over time because we've become comfortable in our nice padded air-conditioned worlds that we live in now. See, some of the most rewarding things in life are hidden behind these kind of paywalls, the resistance and the overcoming of these adversarial type, whether it be metaphorical demons or whatever you choose. There is a lot of empowerment behind those things that you can really draw so much energy and power from to make yourself feel good in a world that doesn't always challenge us the way that we wish it would or need it to. And if you're someone who's had to battle from, let's say being out of shape to get into doing something like ultramarathons or marathons or even just races, there's a really strong possibility that once we achieve the thing, once we beat the demon, slay the dragon, whatever you want to say, that we can typically become complacent because we've achieved the thing and we kind of fall out of love with the day to day once you've won. And so then you get into this kind of what's next. It's how do you find the passion in running to continue to push it? And that's the addictive part. Like once you figure that out and you're able to kind of go, oh, I feel good when I go through these training cycles and I complete this race. And then some people are fine with doing the same races every year. And then some people need to travel and need to sign up for new races and new challenges. And it becomes that addictive thing of solving the puzzle and winning the war and driving yourself to do things you never thought you can do. And then there's also power. And if we're being honest here, there's power in people admiring that about you. Completing a race and having people going, oh my goodness, I didn't know that about it. I didn't know that you could do something like that. That's crazy. Like there is a little bit of power in that if we're being honest, when people admire us for doing that. And I'm not saying that's why we do it, but it does make you feel good about having people admire your ability to do these things that are seemingly above what average people can do. And the purpose of this channel is to try to tell us average people out there that, look, we can do this. We can find this for ourselves. We can train and we can become these people that you put on a pedestal and think are above. I don't want to say above you because it's not a stature thing, but they're people who are achieving things you don't think you can do, that somehow they were born with this innate ability, this superpower. And what you don't understand is that you have this inside of you. You have the ability to do these things. If you want to really do them, you can train. You can find the thing inside of you that keep pushing you forward, because things like ultras are just mostly mental. Once you kind of get basic shape, it's a mental game. You're trying to survive while your brain is trying to tell you to quit because you think you're killing yourself. That's the mental battle. That's the part that I try to tap into with people when I talk to them, to say, look, there's something in you. There's something in most humans that allows them to push, that even if you don't know it's there. When you're pushed to the brink of breaking, whether it be emotionally or physically. Many people get there through many different things, whether it be joining the military or going through extreme sports or just having traumatic events in their lives. People get pushed there, and they're able to kind of peel back the layers and see that. They're able to see that in themselves and say, you know what? I want to continue to do that. That's why I think there's so many people that battle addictions and beat them, have that ability and understand that about themselves, that, look, this is a part of me that's broken, but there's a part of me that's super strong, that's able to overcome and battle and do things that are way beyond what most people can do. That's the part of running that I think is addictive. It's that beauty and the pain. It is really just, it's beyond the dopamine and the endorphins, like got tattooed on my arm. That's part of it. But there's another part of it. It's this kind of taking ourselves out of this mundane life, this day-to-day life where we go sit at a desk or we go do things we don't want to do every day for a paycheck so that we could pay for a house we have to have to do the things. Like, there's part of us that just wants to be stripped down to the bare bones, to what it is to be a human and survive and put ourselves into adversity and overcome. I think there's really a lot to be said about that. And that's why I said I'd rather go run in the woods for 8 or 9 hours a day than do almost anything else, because it's just something, there's a connection to the trails and to pushing your body to do those things. So those are my thoughts on why I think running is addictive, why I love running, why I run. So I would be very interested in hearing what the why is for all of you. What is it that you find addictive about running? Is it the logistics? Is it the problem solving? Is it just the basic fundamental moving your body and having the power to transport yourself from A to B, whether it be for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 24 hours or 36 hours or whatever it is? What is it that draws you to being a runner? Thanks for watching. Go ahead and click right here. I'll see you next video. Oh, and leave your comments below. Appreciate it. Take care.